Hi everybody, today we're going to be talking about multi-camera editing using free software. So first of all, what is multi-camera editing? Multi-camera editing is when you have more than one camera recording at the same time, but you only want to make one video out of the combined video files. So here we have 4 video cameras that are recording an event, and we are just making one final video and with the different camera angles combined. So for instance, this is the final video, and you can see how we change from the different shots. Okay, so what software are we using for this? We're going to be using software called Blender. So if you don't already have Blender, you can find the website at blender.org, and then from there you can just click on download and you'll be able to get it for free for either Windows, Mac OS X or Linux. Okay, so once you've downloaded the software Blender, open it up, so install it of course, and then open it up, and it will look something like this, because Blender is actually primarily for 3D editing. So to edit video footage, what you need to do is go up here to where it says default, click on the button beside it, and then click on video editing, and then it will look something like this. But that isn't what we were looking at earlier. This is quite different, so let's change it around so it looks a little bit more like what we were looking at earlier. So if I go, this here is useful, we'll use this. This here we will also use, but this we won't be using, not at least for today. So I'm going to change this to properties. So click on this little button down here in the bottom left hand corner, the white S and the green line, and click on properties. We will use this, and then up in the top right hand corner you'll see these 3 lines. Click on that, and while you're pressing with your left mouse button, move your mouse and a new tab opens. Okay, so that's interesting. We've got 2 of these now, but we only need 1. We want this for looking at our different video footage. So go down again to Video Sequence Editor and click on the button. So I'll just do that again so you can see. So it was a Properties tab. I went up here to the top left hand corner, clicked on this little button, and it gives me a list of things I can change it to, and click on Video Sequence Editor. Now this is the same as this, but actually we want it more like this. So over here we have 3 more buttons. One with these 2 rectangles, one with a square with lots of smaller checkered squares inside, and one which is a combination of both. Let's click on this square with the smaller squares inside. And now you can see we have another thing for showing video. So we want 4 of these. So click at the top 3 lines with your left mouse button and drag. And then click again on, we'll click on this one and drag. And again and drag. So now we have 4 spaces for showing video here and 1 space here. If you're using more than 4 cameras, then you might want to open up more. Now if you wanted to get rid of one of these, you just click on the 3 lines in the corner and move it on top of the other window that you don't need, and they will join together. Okay, so now we have set up our workspace. It's time to start adding the video files. Okay, so once you've set up your workspace, you can start adding the video footage. So I'm just going to make sure this green line is at the beginning by clicking on this button, so that everything will go to the beginning. Okay, so for your video files, put everything into the same folder. Don't have it all over the place. Put it in the same folder. And then you can have different folders inside. If you have also extra audio, you can put it in a different folder. Then maybe one folder for each of your cameras. So also I have folders for artwork and Blender files. So if we click on the zoom camera, you see I've got all the video files from that camera, or the wide camera and reaction camera, and finally the moving camera. And it's important as well to name your video files. It'll make it easier for you to find the correct videos later. Okay, so let's start adding the files. The first thing I'm going to add is the audio, because I recorded the audio separately. So just left click on the file and move it down to here. Hold the left click and drop. Now I'll add the zoom camera, and then wide angle camera, reaction camera, and finally moving camera. Okay, so now you've added all your video files. The next thing to check is whether they align. So here, for instance, these are from the same camera. We have zoom show for video, blue is video, and green is audio. But for some reason, the video is longer than the audio. So we need to fix that. How can we do that? Well, actually, the problem is probably frame rate. So over here, I have a properties window. And if you don't have one open, you can open it by clicking on a button somewhere, like one of these buttons, and clicking on properties. So properties is down here. Then go down to dimensions, frame rate. This needs to be the same as your video footage. So the number of pictures per second for your videos. So Blender usually uses 24, but this video is from a camera that shoots 30 per second. So many cameras shoot 30. So I'm going to change that now to 30. And now you can see the green files and blue files are the same length, except for this one here. This camera I have a bit of a problem with, the moving camera. We need to fix that. So just by looking at it, I can see that this one is about twice the length of this one. So I'm going to fix that now in a second. Okay, so to fix this problem, I'm going to click on the video file that I want to change with right click, then go down to add. So add this ad here right below this timeline. There are lots of other ads, but we want to just click on this one. So add effect strip speed control. And now I need to change that. So go over here to the right hand side and there will be a menu. If I go down to effect strip, it says multiply speed. So I'm going to change that to 2 by clicking on it. And now that will have fixed the problem with this video footage. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is set up these monitors so they each show a different camera angle. So how can we do that? Well, under each video it says channel, and then there's the number. So that is referring to these numbers here. So beside each of these video files there is a number, and that's the number we're going to be using here. So if I go down and click on this one here, this is 3. So I want this to be here. So I click on this little arrow to 3, and then the video picture will change to this camera angle. Now I want to show this one here, so that is number 4. So if I click on the right arrow, 1, 2, 3, 4, it should open up. Then for this one up here, it should be number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that video image will display. And for this one here, I want that to show number 10 actually, because 10 is the speeded up version of the moving camera. So here we have 4 different camera angles, although these two look strangely the same. That's because this should be 3. Okay, so problem fixed. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 different camera angles displaying here, and then this is our final output. Okay, so once you've set up your 4 different monitors, you can now check to see if the footage is in sync. So in sync means that things are happening at the same time, because we want everything to be the same. We want it to all match the sound. So we can see here that, for instance, these children are wearing different clothes to these children. So it's not the same, right? So actually this one is out of sync. So that is channel 4. So I'll go down to channel 4, and I want to move this. So I'm going to click G and then move my mouse until those children leave, and then these other children arrive. Now let's have a look. They're all arriving, but we can see here that this one is probably a little different from this one. We want them to match almost perfectly. So we're going to try and find things that are happening in the different videos and match them up so that they're happening at the same time. Actually, this takes a lot of work, and we'll be perfecting it as we edit the video. So I'm going to speed up this process, and you won't. I'm going to speed up this process, and you can watch the speeded up version. Okay, so now we've done the video sync. We now need to do some audio sync. So we need to get the videos to match the sound. So how can we do that? Well, first of all, there are a few things we need to do. Click down here on View, then click Waveforms On. So Waveform Drumming, Waveforms On. This will take a few minutes to load, probably on your machine. It doesn't happen instantly. It needs to take some time to draw it. So maybe it'll take 2 or 3 minutes before you can see these pictures. And this is the sound, so we can see the sound here. Also, the next thing we need to change is the end frame. So if I play now, if I play the video, if I click here, click play, it's going to stop here. It won't play all of the file. And actually, we need to edit everything, so this is going to be a problem. The other problem that we have is that this sound needs to be played at the same time as the video. So if I click down here on playback, click on AV sync, and then click audio scrubbing. So, and go up here to properties. If you don't have properties open, just click on the corner button here and choose properties, dimensions, end frame, and change that to 50,000. So start frame 1, end frame 50,000. We'll change that later. And now I can play everything. And actually I can see that it gets very loud here. That's because that is the start of the song. So we're going to find the start of the song and move the video files so they start the song here. So let's have a look. Actually, I'll just turn off audio scrubbing for now. So the song hasn't started yet, we can see. But if I move forward a little bit, and maybe click play, they're going to start dancing in a second, and that will be the start. Right here. So this is the point that I need to move to here. And actually the other thing I need to do is, these other sound files are also playing, which is kind of annoying. So let's turn them off. So click on the sound file with right click. Actually we can just delete them. We don't even need them. So right click on it and click X. Right click X, erase strips. Right click X, erase strips. Right click X, erase strips. We'll clean this up later. And then click on the video files, shift and right click, holding shift down so we can select them all, and let's move them so that this movement here starts here. So G, and then let's move. I'm just going to move this green line here by left clicking. Right there. And now we have the start lined up. Now it's not going to be perfect, but as we edit, we will change it and make it a little bit better. Okay, so once you've done your basic audio sync, we can start editing. But before that, we need to clean up a little bit. So we have all these empty spaces, and actually we want to clean it up because it'll be a lot quicker if they're closer together. So I'm going to move these down. If I click on the clip with right click, it will appear here in this little menu. Currently it says channel 3. I want to move that down to this line here, channel 2. So click on this down arrow and it will go down. But that will also affect our monitor. So change that also to channel 2. Now I'll click on this. This is the wide one, which we can see is here, channel 4. So I'll bring that down to channel 3. And actually I'll just quickly show you what happens if we don't fix this. So I'm going to move this one down, which is currently on channel 6, to channel 4. So this is currently channel 4. And now it changes, so we'll have 2 of this, so that's not what we want. So to fix that, bring it down again. So this should be channel 3 now, and that will be channel 4. And then the last one, It's currently on channel. Whoops. Our moving camera, and bring that down to channel 6. Now let's have a quick look here. So this is currently channel 6, but if I move it to channel, so that's the speed, this purple line, but if I move it down to channel 5, you can see it changes. That's because this one is still too slow, and this is the fixed version. Okay, so keep that on the fixed version, the purple line, if you have a camera with this problem. Okay, so now we have organized our files. We can start applying the multi-camera effect. Okay, so to apply the multi-camera effect, first of all, move this green bar to the beginning by pressing on this arrow here. Jump to first frame. Okay, so now that's here at the beginning. We can start to add the effect. So go down to strip. Sorry, actually add effect strip. So add effect strip and then multicam selector. And you can see a little green box has appeared. It's currently on channel 2, but actually we need this to be above. We need to be at the top. So I'm going to move that by clicking on this menu here where it says channel 2. Click on that till it goes up to channel 7, our top channel. So we need to make this bigger because it's only very small at the moment. So here it says length. Let's change that to 50,000. We can make it shorter later. So now that should cover our whole video and more. So now we're ready to start looking at the multi-camera effect. So if you right click on it and go down, you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these numbers at the bottom in the effect strip. So that is referring to the channels. So when we click on a number, say if I go here and let's say I like this shot here, it will show in our final video. Okay, so to start the process of editing using this multi-camera effect, first of all, choose your start video. So we're going to have the titles here later, but for the moment the only video that's playing is this wide angle one. So that is channel 3. So I'm going to click on multicam and then click 3. So now it's showing here. Then I can click play. And actually, perhaps this channel 2 is the first one to show anyone entering. And why is that? Is it actually, that's because it's out of sync, so we need to fix that. So as you are editing, you might notice things are out of sync, so try and fix them as you go. So we're going to move that. And then maybe you want to change to this one now. So just right click on multicam and hit the channel number. So that is channel 6. Then just click play again, here or here. Maybe I want to go back a bit and switch to this camera here. That is channel 4. So I'll just go back and then click 4 and then play. Now I've noticed that these two are out of sync because she just passed this one, so actually I might need to fix that later on. But the process then is basically the same. Play the video, and when you want to change to a different camera, you just stop and then hit the number of the camera you want to change to, and it will change. And that's how we do multi-camera editing with the free software Blender. Okay everyone, I hope that was very useful, and see you next time. Goodbye.